Hi everyone, this is Anna, one of your consumer technology specialists at Mid-Continent Public Library. Today we are going to continue our Browser Basics series by taking a look at browser profiles. So what is a browser profile? A browser profile is the way that each internet browser stores all of the settings, preferences, bookmarks, and password information for a specific person's browser. So just like you can have multiple user accounts on your computer that allow for logging into the computer and having it set up a specific way for that user, you can also do the same thing with internet browsers by using a browser profile. The three browsers that we're going to look at today, Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, and Microsoft Edge, all have options to create browser profiles. There are some benefits you may want to consider when deciding whether to use a browser profile or not. Multiple users can use the same web browser and have all their own settings saved by using a profile on that browser. You can also have separate profiles like for personal and then work. So especially if you work from home or something like that, you can keep those things separate so it makes it a little bit easier to turn one off when you need to be focused on the other. Another thing to keep in mind is that profiles do not have to be connected to an email account. So for example, your Google Chrome does not have to be tied to your Gmail account. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. The reason you may want to connect your email address to your browser profile is that connecting them allows you to take all of those settings, so any bookmarks, any saved passwords, any other settings that you have, and you can sync those across different devices. So if you use a computer, but you also have a tablet or a smartphone or all three, you would be able to sync your settings and information between your devices that way. If you choose not to connect your email account, you will still be able to create a profile and have it individualized to the settings and bookmarks and everything that you want. It will just only be available on that computer or that one device. So that's just something to keep in mind. The last thing that I want to note before we take a look at how to create these profiles is that having browser profiles is not a secure way to keep browsing data private from other users. So switching between profiles is very easy. There's not any password involved or anything like that. So if you are wanting to use a profile to keep your internet use and information separate and private, the profile is not the way to do that. So now let's just jump in and start learning how we can create browser profiles. I'm going to start with Google Chrome today. So to create profiles in Google Chrome, I'm going to start by opening my browser from the shortcut icon on my desktop. From here, I'm going to click this icon that looks like a person's head and torso, kind of like a blank profile photo. It's in the top right corner of my window. And here I can see that there is a profile that's already in use on my browser for a person one. This is just the default, so if you never set up a profile, it would just save your settings using this profile. So I can click the pencil icon on the right to update the information on this profile so I can use it as a personal profile. This may be a good option if you have already been saving bookmarks or other settings and now you're wanting to create a profile. So notice just below person 1, we have an option to turn on sync. If we log into our Google account at this point, which would be like if you have a Gmail email address, we can actually sync the bookmarks from here. So that's what I was talking about before about syncing across devices. But as I said, you do not have to do that. So we're going to skip that step right now. So if we look down just below that sync option, we do have other profiles listed, and guest is one of the options. Using the guest option would not show any bookmarks or save information. But I am going to reiterate again, it's very easy to switch between profiles. So you won't use or have the guest profile available to keep someone from seeing anything you have saved on another profile. Anyway, below that, we have the option to add another profile, and then we have the gear icon in this section, which will give us the ability to add or delete saved profiles. So I'm going to start by clicking the pencil icon for person 1, and this takes me to a page where I can name my profile, I can choose a color theme and an avatar. The avatar will display when I am actively using the profile. So up in the corner of the web browser, the right upper corner where we clicked on that blank profile photo, that's where your avatar image would go. So you'd be able to click that, or you'd be able to look at that and see right away which profile you're using. But on this page, when I scroll down, I see that there is not a button to save these changes. So I know that they are saved automatically, so I don't have to worry about that. And these are really the only things that I need to do to set up my profile so I can start using it. I can save bookmarks or whatever else. I am actually right now going to go back to the profile icon and click to open it again in the top right corner. And now I'm going to click add. So when I click add to create another new profile, I get a pop-up window that gives me an option to sign in with my Google account or continue without an account. So I'm clicking continue without an account, and I'm just going to quickly set up a second profile so we can see how it works with switching between or having more than one. So when I click done, I get a new browser window that opened the profile. So now I'm going to close my browser windows. Now I'm going to go back to my desktop and open Chrome again. And when I open Chrome now, I have the option to choose which profile I want to use, or I can choose guest mode. So I'm going to pick the first option, and here I am with my profile. I'm going to go ahead and bookmark this Google homepage. And make sure my bookmark bar is visible so that you can see where I've saved my bookmark. Now I'm going to go back to that profile icon at the top right area of the window. I'm going to click it, and I can see on this little drop-down list now that the other profile is an option, so the second profile. So I can just click that right from this menu and it's going to switch to the other profile. And if I quickly pull up my bookmark bar so it's showing again, I can see here that this bookmark bar is empty. So that's exactly what I want to see. If I switch back to the first profile, there's my bookmark again. So this is how we can set up profiles in Google Chrome and start using them. Google Chrome actually also gives you the option to have a shortcut on your desktop for specific profiles. So that's a nice little option. Microsoft Edge works similarly. So I open my browser window and there is a profile icon in the exact same area up in the right corner of the window. And when I click that icon, just like in Chrome, I start with this Person 1 profile. I also have an option to sync between devices by signing in with an account. Edge even lets me sign in with a Google account. I can also browse as a guest or even browse in kids mode. I'm going to just go ahead and click Add at the very bottom. And then in this little pop-up, I'm going to click Add again. Here I can choose a theme for my browser profile. And then I can even select some websites to pin to my taskbar. So I'm just going to leave those unchecked and click Finish to finish the profile setup. Now if I click the profile icon, I can see Person 1 and Person 2. So I do now have profiles that I can switch between. At this point, I still have the option to sign in and sync to an account using one of these profiles. I can also click this Manage Profiles button if I want to edit or remove any profiles. The last browser we are going to look at today is Mozilla Firefox. And I will say, Firefox seems to be the most difficult for a beginner to create a browser profile. I am going to show how we can do this because we are showing these steps for multiple browsers, and if you feel comfortable and want to create profiles on Firefox, these are the steps you would take. In the address bar, I'm going to type about:profiles, and then I'm going to press enter. So now I'm on the About Profiles page, and this page may look a little scary with the directory addresses and all of that, but we're going to ignore most of what's on this page, and we're just going to click the button that says Create a New Profile. And now we get a pop-up that has some information about profiles. We're going to go ahead and click Next. This is where we can name our profile. This is definitely helpful if you're going to have more than one profile so that you'll be able to quickly tell which is which. And for this demonstration, I'll just name it New Profile. So I could choose a different folder to save the profile information, but I'm just going to leave the settings as is and click Finish. So now I can see my new profile has been added to the list on the About Profiles page. I'm going to click the option to launch profile in New Browser. And here, when they say New Browser, they mean New Browser window. Now I'm getting a couple of questions about settings. Do I want to pin a shortcut to the taskbar? Do I want Firefox to be my default browser? Do I want to import information from Chrome, as well as options to choose a theme? So I'm just declining all of these. We can go back into settings later if we want to incorporate any of these things. So I don't have to make those decisions right now. Those settings are going to be located through the More menu, which is in the top right corner of our window. It is the hamburger icon with the 3 lines. We'll click that, and then most of the way down is the settings option. So now that my profile is set up, any bookmarks I save or passwords I tell the browser to save will be attached to this profile until I switch to a different one. I'm going to go ahead and create a second profile quickly so that we can see working with multiple in Firefox. So to enable the ability to choose your profile each time you start up, there are a few more steps with Firefox. I would suggest writing these steps down before you begin. That's a personal preference, because what we are going to be doing is opening the Run dialog. So to do this on your Windows computer, you would hold down the Windows key and the letter R key at the same time to open up that Run dialog. There's a little text box field, and you'll need to type firefox.exe space -P. The P can be uppercase or lowercase, and then you'll click OK. And the Firefox Profile Manager will open at this point. So you should see the same profiles from the page where we originally created ours in the web browser. There are 2 check boxes at the bottom below the profile list. So we're going to uncheck use the selected profile without asking at startup. And we need to do this in order to be able to switch between profiles. Because what this is going to do is make this pop-up come up every time you open Firefox so that you can choose which profile to use. And because this is going to show up every time we open Firefox, if we want it to go back to defaulting to a specific profile, we can easily do that by checking that box again before we restart Firefox. So you check the box, close out of Firefox, close out of any browser windows, and then reopen Firefox to make that change. So as I said, and as we just saw, Firefox is a bit more complicated. It definitely has more steps to get these browser profiles set up. It may work well for some people, so we do want to show you the option in case that is what works best for you, because really, browser preference is your choice. So I hope this video was helpful. And if you want to learn other things about how you can use your web browser, check out our Browser Basics series of videos on our YouTube channel. That's it for today's video. If you liked it, make sure you let us know. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook on our MCPL 360 page. We have new videos every Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. And if you missed the live event, you can always find all of our videos on our YouTube channel. You can find all of our videos there on our Consumer Technology playlist. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you again next time.